G'day battlers, and today we are already jumping in for an early Glacial Cup tournament win at the hands of Shundohunter420 in the Flash Tournaments for All server. Now, if you want to do a whole bunch of Glacial Cup practice tournaments, that is definitely the server to be. I'll have the link in the description down below. But Shundohunter coming in here with a little bit of a selection of mons. We don't have the PvP rankings yet, like the official rankings, because Kakuna Matata is taking a break this week. It is a Thanksgiving holiday weekend, so because we have to wait till Monday, I think that it's sort of helpful to be able to take a look at these teams, take a look at these tournaments where we can see these teams in action to see what we can sort of gather is like what's good, what's bad, how's this cup sort of actually shaping out on the ground level. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at rounds 2 and 3 from Shundohunter's sweep. Unfortunately, neither opponent did record round 1, and this was a 3-round tournament. So we're going to be jumping in round 2 here up against goiluminousDJ. Both of them are winning the first round. So Shundohunter's team here, we have the Empoleon, Drapion, Alolan Sandslash, Dragonair, Whiscash and Bronzong, and goilluminous having that Bronzong, Empoleon, Beedrill, Shadow Lapras, Swirlus, and Frostlass. So a lot of mons here that were on my meta simplified infographic for the Glacial Cup, which check that out if you haven't already to get a bit of an extra idea about what is going on in the Glacial Cup. But you can see on Shundohunter's team, they sort of mentioned it to me. They've got the Empoleon, Drapion, and Whiscash, and those three Pokemon are very, very good at spamming. Like they get the moves off really fast. Empoleon having the Hydro Cannon and the Drill Peck able to be putting on a big threat to things like Beedrill. Drapion just a very spamming Pokemon in general, especially with Poison Sting, and then Whiscash with that Mud Bomb spam plus the potential for that Blizzard. Big KOs are coming through there. So I also really do like Alolan Sandslash as an ice type. I think it can be a pretty powerful pick. I think that the fact that it has that steel typing means that it doesn't care about a lot of the things running around. Like a Celio can really get walled by that Alolan Sandslash. And then Dragonair, I think the Dragons potentially might be a little bit overrated in this cup. Time will tell, but based on my battles with Sosfo the other day, it could be the case. But I've rambled on for like 2 minutes now, so we'll finally jump into the battles. Jumping into this second round, first game of round 2, up against a goiluminousDJ here. But we've got the Whiscash up against Swirlus in the lead, which isn't a great lead, but if you can land the Blizzard, it definitely makes it like just, you know, obviously it's gonna like just destroy that Swirlus. But it looks like a Shundohunter going straight for the Mud Bomb here. CMP tying on the Body Slam. Body Slam definitely gonna like start adding up, and you can see alongside the Dragon Breaths that generally this is looking like a normally Swirlus's matchup. Doesn't get the shield on the Mud Bomb. Unfortunately, it just didn't have enough energy, so there wasn't really a threat. Looks like Shundohunter is actually just going straight for the Mud Bomb. I'd kind of prefer going for the... I feel like you'd rather go for the Blizzard, and either... Actually, you do get a shield on that one, so never mind. I take it back. You still get a shield out of this Swirlus, and at this point, you'd probably let Whiscash go down and then farm down with either Empoleon or Dragonair. Decides to shield up, wanting to get an extra Mud Bomb off, potentially here, which... I don't think it would take out this Swirlus, but it is going to put a lot of pressure on it to burn this last shield. No, let's it go through. Comes in the Dragonair with the little snipe there, and at this point, yeah, the Shadow Lapras comes in. Switch locking yourself into the Dragonair is definitely a little bit rough. I'm kind of wondering if it would have been beneficial to just let Swirlus get the energy. And then I guess you'd have to eat a charge move from Swirlus. A little bit of lag there on the Shadow Lapras' side, but going for the Aqua Tail anyway, so we'll see if this does like dramatically change the result of the match. I mean, Aqua Tail is going to do pretty much nothing anyway. Another little bit of lag there, still a bit of lag, and it looks like catching the how am I blanking? Draco. No, not Dragon Pulse. The Dragon Pulse onto that Empoleon with the Steel typing, which absolutely just does nothing. And at this point, I don't think there's anything that... I feel like this is just a win for goilluminous. Unless they... Oh, actually, they tried to catch the move there onto Whiscash, but you can see that goilluminous has the shield advantage and has the energy advantage on that Empoleon. First charge move goes through there, and at this point... actually also still has another mon in the back, and yeah, tried to catch the move onto Whiscash, but unfortunately didn't go through there. So this Empoleon going to be coming in, and yeah, charge move come through. Shundohunter does go down in the first round. The Whiscash vs Swirlus matchup in the lead was definitely a little bit rough. I think the switch locking yourself into the Dragonair may have been the sort of the biggest like mistake of that one. It was definitely a little bit rough there. But going into game 2 now, we've got the Alolan Sandslash into Swirlus, a much better lead for Shundohunter here. Expecting a swap out pretty quick from goilluminous. They're staying in, and this Ice Punch alongside the Powder Snows are definitely seriously adding up here. Goilluminous burning the shield, and they're still... have they got like 2 things in the back that are also weak? Have they got like Bronzong doesn't like Bulldoze? Maybe they've got Frostless as well. I'm not actually that. Okay, that Dark Pulse actually did a fair amount of damage, and that is part of the benefit of these practice tournaments. You do get to sort of figure out what is good and how much damage the Metamons are doing to each other. Lands the Bulldoze onto the Lapras and then swapping out into that Empoleon. Empoleon doesn't care too much about the charge move from Lapras. Lapras looks like they're farming all the way up to a Skull Bash, but a Skull Bash, because of that steel typing on Empoleon, doesn't care about it too much, can definitely tank it. And it is that Skull Bash, so it is going to increase the defense. But Empoleon looks like we're farming up to the back-to-back Drill Peck. This Drill Peck, if it goes through, will take out the Lapras, and then we'll have another move to throw it, whatever ends up coming in. It might be that Zweilous. I don't think Zweilous has much energy, but maybe you just use it here instead of up against the Alolan Sandslash that you know is in the back for Shundohunter. Brings in the Zweilous, gets an extra 2 waterfalls of farm, recognizing that that Zweilous was pretty much energy dry after throwing the Dark Pulse at Alolan Sandslash. And at this point, what's in the back? Oh, it's Beedrill in the back. Okay, interesting that they didn't swap out earlier on, but this Drill Peck pretty much forces that last shield out of the Beedrill. And at this point, Whiscash in the back, I think, secures the deal for Shundohunter. Oh, and 2 shield advantage as well. Yeah, this is like hard GG's. There is not much that GoIluminous can do here. But I do wonder, because they had Lapras and Beedrill in the back. Neither of those are awful up against Alolan Sandslash. So I almost wonder if it might have been more beneficial for GoIluminous to swap out of the Zweilous matchup earlier up against Whiscash. And then maybe would have been able to play around a little bit better there. We're going to game 3 nonetheless here. It is 1-1, so all tied up in this round 2. And we have the Empoleon into the Beedrill. So this is actually a pretty interesting matchup, just because Empoleon does super effective damage with the Drill Peck, and then Beedrill does super effective damage with the Drill Run. And you can see that the Waterfall is adding up damage a lot more significantly than the resisted Poison Jabs. Does shield up the Drill Run there, and then going for the Drill Peck. Beedrill actually gets an extra fast move in there. That's a little bit unfortunate for Shundohunter, but gets that shield, and then yeah, just swapping out into the Whiscash. Brings out the Lapras. This isn't great for Whiscash, just because these Mud Bombs aren't really doing much. They are really spammy, which, as Shundohunter sort of mentioned in that sort of putting their team together, it definitely really helps. But yeah, they're going to wait up, and I'm wondering if this Lapras is going straight for that Skull Bash again, just like they did the last time round, but we'll see, I guess. You have to, I mean, there is still that Beedrill in the back, and so Shundohunter kind of needs to be careful with this last shield, because if they get themselves into a spot where Alolan Sandslash is up against Beedrill, for example, a Drill Run would just like be the end of it. So you kind of had to hold on to the shield there a little bit. Looks like going for the full farm down. Are going to see a charge move coming from this Lapras. No matter what it is, Empoleon can tank it again, so decides to keep it. Again, keeping that shield, it could be very important later, depending on what Pokemon comes out here. And it is actually this Zweilous coming out, so that is actually really good. Like, Shundohunter's going, yes! Just because they've got that Alolan Sandslash is the really solid cannon in the back. But again, we saw how much Dark Pulse did last time, so has to maybe be careful of that one as well. Decides, looks like we may be going for a full farm down here. The question is, do we see the shield for the Dark Pulse? No shield, and is the Dark Pulse. That does hurt. But, oh, the Beedrill swap in, actually. You're going to shield at this point. I think if you're the Sandslash, you farm up to 2 Ice Punches. Farm up to 2, throw 1. I think this takes out the Beedrill or gets that last shield. And if it gets the last shield, you've got another Ice Punch that you can then go through. Zweilous comes in. And Zweilous isn't gonna get to another Dark Pulse up against this Alolan Sandslash. So I think this is, although it doesn't have a lot of health, Dragon Breaths are gonna add up here. Ooh, this could actually be close. Oh no, he's gonna get to the Ice Punch. Really nicely done from Shundohunter there, and he's gonna take out round 2 with that 2-1 victory. Definitely some nice stuff there, and I have to hop over to here now, going into round 3 up against GallarMT. Let me swap the teams over on screen. So GallarMT is actually running the Shadow Hypno, the Pelipper, the Drapion, Malamar, Frostlass, and the Zweilous. So Malamar is a really interesting Pokemon in this meta. It's presumably running the Foul Play Superpower moveset, which can pretty much hit like everything. There's nothing that doesn't care about Malamar at all, which is definitely pretty scary. And the Shadow Hypno is a bit of a divisive mon, especially in these Silph metas where it's so hard to pick your line of 3 against. just because it could have so many different movesets. You don't know. If it's got Ice Punch, then Dragonair doesn't like it as much. If it's got Fire Punch, then Alolan Sandslash and Bronzong don't like it as much. If it's got the Shadow Ball, Drapion doesn't really care about that, but Bronzong certainly does. So you've got to weigh up all these different things. A long time ago, I think like in January this year, I did a talk with some of the best battlers in the world. I'll link it over there and in the description as well about how they sort of pick their lines of 3. And I remember we talked about Hypno a little bit. You kind of just... it's a little bit of a game of trying to figure out what Hypno move... It was Hot Pocket that talked about this. What Hypno moveset are they likely to have to give their team the best coverage? And I think that might be some helpful advice for this month, especially because there are going to be some Hypnos running around. But we'll jump in, take a look at what we've got. And okay, we've got the Empoleon going into the Malamar. So this is kind of interesting. Empoleon doesn't have anything super effective to throw and has to be scared of that superpower, so decides to swap into the Drapion here. Oh, it's so scary when you're up against something that's got like that big nuky superpower move. Decides to throw the superpower and then are going to dip out of there into the Mirror Drapion. So at this point, Shundohunter does have the energy advantage, so it looks like at this point going to hope for that 30% defense, 30% chance for the defense debuff, so they can try and win this switch advantage. They do not get it at that point. Second time's the charm. No one ever says that, so I feel like this is heading for disaster. Yeah, third time's the charm, so maybe they'd go for it again. Maybe they're also playing a strategy of keeping their Aqua Tail hidden. There's the Aqua Tail from the other side, because Aqua Tail is going to be like the better move to throw up against a Drapion if you want to maximize your damage output. But I mean, Crunch with that 30% chance debuff chance, definitely pretty tantalizing. Ooh, looks like that might have been an overtap. That's a little bit rough. It looked a bit like maybe there was lag in there. I'm not too sure, but it definitely looked a little bit rough there. But going for the Crunch now. I believe this is the third time's the charm, so... Hey, not that it meant anything, because they both instantly swapped out. But we have the Malamar up against the Dragonair. Anyway, this is actually pretty good for the Dragonair. Superpower, not going to do tons. That actually did a little bit more than I kind of thought it would, but it's not super effective or anything. And at this point, Dragonair able to get this Aqua Tail off, and pretty close to another one. I think Malamar probably it would go down because of that superpower debuff especially. But at this point, no shields left. Goes for the foul play, which is going to take out the Dragonair, bringing in the Empoleon to try and waterfall down before it gets another superpower off. Unfortunately, we've got a move coming through here, and I do think it is a superpower. Malamar has been debuffed one stage, but yeah, that's still a little bit rough. Coming in with the Pelipper in the... Okay, I feel like this is pretty hard GG's at this point, because Shundohunter, had no shields. GallarMT still had a shield. There's not much health on this Empoleon, and there's not much health on the Drapion in the back either. So didn't even throw the moves, just in case I could keep some Empoleon moveset secret potentially. But we will jump into game 2 here. We saw them already come back from a first game loss. It's just gathering intel. It's all mind games. But Dragonair into Malamar in game 2. We saw this before. Superpower actually does do a fair amount of damage, so you don't love to see it. Maybe you're inclined to shield the first move if you're the Dragonair. Aqua Tail does do a lot, and GallarMT maybe trying to bait Shundohunter into not burning the shield here, because they didn't burn it, but they actually go for the foul play, which actually still does a ton of damage. So I think foul play overall seems like the better play for Malamar, just because then it isn't debuffed. But at this point, goes for another foul play. I think at that point you could potentially go for a superpower, just because then if they shield, you can't get farmed down as much, but they decide to keep the Malamar for later on. We see the swap out into Pelipper, going for the Dragon Pulse now, which is going to do a lot of damage if it goes through, and it does not, unfortunately. So now we see the swap out into Drapion, going for that crunch, just hard crunch defense debuffs. At this point, even a Hurricane, I don't think it actually takes out Drapion. Yeah, it doesn't take it out. It does hurt a lot. It's a little bit rough, but you're okay. So goes for the crunch, and there's a shield and no debuff, unfortunately. It really needs to get 3 in a row to be able to get that defense debuff chance. But Aqua Tail not going to take Pelipper out, just trying to get off any damage they can before this Drapion goes down. At this point, Whiscash also doesn't care too much. I feel like you maybe try and... I was going to say maybe try and catch onto the Dragonair, but the switch timer isn't up yet. So you really just have to eat this. Oh, actually went for the Weather Ball. Actually they tapped straight on it, so maybe they were kind of expecting that Dragonair might be appearing, but no Dragonair. Goes for another Weather Ball there. Big calls from Shundohunter. If that was a Hurricane, this would be GG. So actually really nicely played. GallarMT really trying to get that last shield out of Shundohunter. This Mud Bomb, I think Wiz going to take out the Pelipper. And then it's just going to be down to what is... Oh, it is the Drapion in the back. That is huge. This Whiscash is in a brilliant spot. This is going to be super effective. Still got a shield in tow. Able to shield the first move from the Drapion. And I think he's going to be able to outpace. I think Whiscash can get to another Mud Bomb before Drapion gets to another move. There is also the potential for Shundohunter to catch a charge move onto the Dragonair in the back. Also, you know, I was wrong about the outpacing thing, but brilliant catch. And that won the game. Like, that has secured it. This Mud Bomb, going to take this Drapion out, and then there's still the little bit of health in the back, I think. Yeah, a little bit of Malamar, so just, yeah, one more Mud Bomb, just through the charge move before, and yeah, that's really, really nice catch on Shundohunter's part, really nice counting as well, especially with, like, as he kind of said, the spammy Pokemon are going to be really powerful in this cup, and so being able to successfully catch moves is probably more important in this cup than other ones, just because of, sorry, how sort of based in spam it is. We're going to the final game. We've got the Whiscash into the Malamar. Not a terrible matchup, and we see that Dragonair has been ditched, and we've got the Whiscash, Drapion, and Empoleon line. Unfortunately, we've seen no Bronzong play today, but that's alright, Bronzong. Maybe next time. I guess Bronzong is a little bit clunky, but although we're going to see the Mud Bomb going through here. There's no real reason to shield when you know it's... Actually, oh, it was up to the Blizzard, so yeah, fair enough. You don't want to get hit by a Blizzard. Mud Bomb doesn't matter too much, though. But at this point, you have to be a little bit careful of the superpower, because that does do a lot of damage. Now going for the Blizzard, which will definitely take out Malamar if it goes through. I feel like they might not want to burn both shields. Oh! I missed that. There was a swap to, there was a swap to Pelipper, which actually wasn't good for GallarMT, because Shundohunter went for the Blizzard. So that's rough. But now going for the Weather Ball up against Empoleon, who is going to resist that, so it doesn't matter too much. Actually gets another Weather Ball off before going down. At least I hope it's a Weather Ball, because yeah, it's a Weather Ball. I was going to say, I would look real dumb if I keep making these mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes this video, but I'm going to blame it on Glacial Cup is like a day old, so I'm still learning, and I don't know all of my Great League matchups that I probably should. But now we're going for the Hydro Cannon, which is going to take... Ooh. Yeah, he's going to take that Malamar out. I thought it might have survived on the tiniest bit of health there, but going for the Hydro Cannon. Frostlass is definitely still has a shield, and I think burning that shield could have actually farmed all the way down. You know the famous saying that Frostlass is dangerous with 2 shields? Usually, that's when the Frostlass has 2 shields, not when you've got 2 shields up against the Frostlass, and Shundohunter is pretty much going to be able to... They could have just BM'd and Poison Stung all the way down, but Shundohunter going to be able to take that one out in a really nice game there. But with that said, that is the end of the video. That is all the battles that we came here to see. Congrats again to Shundohunter for taking that one out. It is just a practice tournament, so these are still early days. These are still some early teams. And there are a lot of fun Pokemon running around. So I mentioned Hot Pocket earlier. Hot Pocket won the first, I believe the first Glacial Cup practice in the world, and won it with a Regice, or Regice as well. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but I think that's also a Pokemon that's definitely worth looking at. Overall, there's a lot of stuff going on in this cup. You can kind of see there's a lot of sort of these relationships between dragons, ice types, the dark poisons, Whiscash definitely having a lot of play as well. So it's not immediately standing out as not similar to my Meta Simplified infographic, which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I did okay. We'll just have to wait and see though. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks to Shundohunter for sharing that footage through. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well, as always, because they are all awesome people. And yeah, if you want to check out Meta Simplified up there, more Glacial Cup battles with some more unique Pokemon in that video down there, and you can always subscribe for more Glacial Cup content through the month. And yeah, pretty exciting project also coming soon that looking forward to announce, but we'll get there when we get there. So see you then.